In this video, I'm going to talk about all of the different events that you can participate in speech and debate. So this is a talk that I like to give my debaters when they first start debating so that they can get an idea or scope of what speech and debate is and what exactly they are about to join and start a journey going through. So, speech and debate. Speech and debate is often referred to as forensics. So when you hear the word forensics, they are often talking about the combination of speech and debate. I know forensics is used in other means, so like crime scene investigators, Gil Grisham, all that type of stuff. That's not what this type of forensics is talking about. This type of forensics is talking about speech and debate. So, for those of you who are young enough not to remember this, the organization known as the NSDA actually used to be called the National Forensics League, but in my opinion, I think that they probably had some issues with the acronym NFL and chose to change to the National Speech and Debate Association, or the NSDA. So when you hear forensics, when you hear somebody call themselves a director of forensics, that just means that they run a speech and debate program. So, what is speech? What is debate? So, let's start with speech. What is speech? Before I get into what speech and debate is, I think a great analogy for speech and debate is track and field. So, for those of you who are either going to watch the Olympics, know track and field, anything like that, track and field is a really generic sport that has a lot of events that fall underneath of it. So, in track, you can do short distance events like the 100-meter dash, the 200-meter dash. You could do medium distance events like the 400-meter dash, the 800 meters, or you could do a long distance event like the mile or the 2 mile. You can also do hurdling events. All of those would fall underneath of the track category, but you probably wouldn't do all of them. You probably would specialize in one or two or three. Just like debate, the field events, long jump, triple jump, pole vault, shot put, discus, you're not going to do all of those. You're probably going to do one or two, specialize in them. Speech and debate is very much the same way. People do speech and debate, but what they mean by that is that they're likely going to specialize in one of the subcategories or events underneath of speech and debate. So let's get into this. Speech. The first category for speech that I'm going to put out is the limited prep category. In the limited prep category of speech, you have events like impromptu, where you get a topic that you don't know beforehand, and you have a certain amount of time, normally 7 minutes, to both prepare and give the speech. The other limited prep event is extemp. Extemp, you come prepared with a bunch of articles about current events, and they tell you what the event that you're going to give a speech, or they tell you the current event that you are going to give a speech on like 20 or 30 minutes before the debate or before the speech, and then you have to give that speech. So underneath limited prep, you have impromptu and you have extemp. So that's limited prep events. The second category of speech events that you have is called Interp events. So there's a bunch underneath of here. I'm not going to write them all down. But the first one is dramatic interpretation. Dramatic interpretation is when you give a speech that's serious. So a lot of famous actors that have done speech and debate have done dramatic interpretation. Another Interp event, probably my favorite event, is the humorous interpretation event, where you give a speech that is a funny speech. Duo interpretation of literature, another Interp event where you and a partner basically give a dramatic interpretation speech. Again, this isn't really my forte, so if you disagree with this, you're probably right, but this is just a general overview of kind of what speech and debate is. Other Interp events. Program in oral interpretation. This is an event where you take two or three pieces and combine them together into one holistic speech. The third and final category for speech events is what I'm going to call the platform events. So the platform events are going to be events like original oratory, or as it is called, OO. So original oratory, you're going to give a 10-minute speech that you yourself have created. Another platform event would be informative. So in informative, you are going to obviously inform the audience, but normally in informative speaking, you are allowed to use a visual aid, not a digital aid. That's probably coming though. So that is informative speaking. The last platform event is called expository. And expository is a shorter informative speech where you don't get a visual aid. So these are the different speech events, or most of them, that you normally encounter at a speech and debate tournament, or you see people participating in at a speech and debate tournament. So that's the speech side of things. Now let's go over to the debate side of things. So in debate, the first two debate events that I'm going to go over are not evidence-centric events, at least in my opinion. So I'm going to put them in a different category. So the first one that I'm going to talk about is Congress. So in Congress, Congress is very much, in my opinion, like model United Nations, in the sense that in MUN, you essentially are role playing or mocking like you are a member of the United Nations. In the event Congress, you role play like you are in the Congress and try to pass legislation, get other senators to co-sign your bills, all sorts of things like that. So you can think of Congress in very, very simple terms as people who are pretending or mocking like they are doing the same exact thing that the people in DC are doing. But they probably do a better job than people in DC. But that's besides the point. The other event is called World Schools Debate. World Schools Debate is a newer form of debate that is more popular internationally. The biggest thing that is going to differentiate it from other events are there's going to be 3 people on a team, and B is that it's probably at this current moment the most friendly debate event to people who don't know debate. So now that we went over those two, the final debate events that I want to cover are what I'm going to call evidence-centric or evidence-centered debate. And these evidence-centric debate events are going to be policy debate, Lincoln Douglas debate, and public forum debate. So in policy debate, it is a 2-on-2 debate event where you and a partner debate another team, and you debate over a resolution that you have for the entire year. Normally a debate takes about 2 hours in policy debate. In Lincoln Douglas debate, you don't have a partner. It's one-on-one, and you debate a topic for 2 months at a time. So you'll get 4 or 5 resolutions throughout the course of the year. But it's only you. There's no partner. It's one-on-one debate. In public forum debate, it's 2-on-2 debate that's supposed to be more centered towards a citizen judge. But public forum debate is 2-on-2 debate, just like policy debate, except generally public forum debate, the rate of delivery is much slower than policy debate. And it also changes topics more frequently. So during the school year, normally we get around 8 public forum topics, although the direction is definitely trending in terms towards less topics. So this is a general overview of what speech and debate is, a background of all of the different events that you participate in. I find this is really helpful, even if it's just like you're at an award ceremony and you're at a local tournament and, you do policy debate or you do PF and they do all the speech events that come beforehand. It's really helpful. What do these other members of the community that you have joined do? I think that it shows an incredible amount of respect when we know and see and recognize what all of these different events are. So, thank you for listening to this little talk, and I hope you have a great day.